How did I get paint on my mask? Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you for joining me again this week. I am joining you guys here this week from the youth room. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, wait, that doesn't look like the youth room. I don't remember it that way. Well, the reason I'm doing it in the youth room is I just got done putting on another coat of paint on the walls here at the church in the youth room. Now, you might be thinking, well, it looks a little boring. I'm going to take you guys on a quick little tour to see what it looks like now. And you'll have to excuse me. Everything is still a mess. We have nothing on the walls and it's all in the middle of the room. That's what happens when you paint. You have to take everything down. But it will look really cool once we start putting our curtains back up and we start putting a bulletin board back in and put our furniture where it's supposed to be. This place is going to look really cool and I can't wait for you guys to see it in person. Let me show you around. Come on. So when you walk into the door, as you can see, we kind of have cloths down because when you paint the walls, as you can see, you get paint on the floor. And we don't want it on the carpet because that wouldn't be good. So you walk in, here's the wall where the phone would be, the fire extinguisher, that'll go back up. Our bulletin boards are off of the wall. And our cabinets are good. Now those blue and green things, that's just tape. Those will come off. As you can see, we have a nice tan color. And then boom, we kept some green, but we had to repaint green to put it on this wall. As you can see, the brick really pops out now that we have the green in place. It's green like some really, really green grass. And we still have our cabinets there. And like I said, it's kind of a mess in here right now. But this is what our walls will look like. Just imagine with our curtains back, with a bulletin board back, and maybe a couple other things that'll either get painted or hung up on these walls anywhere along here. We're back over here by the fireplace. As you can see, we have the blue tape still there. Some of the walls are drying just a little bit. We gotta allow that to dry before we can peel the tape, and then we'll really see everything pop together. Before we begin though, I got two things. We're gonna light our candle, but first, I just wanna say that this is where we started filming 25 weeks ago. And that's a long time. There's 52 weeks in a year, so we've been doing this for half a year. And there's a lot of work that goes into making these videos each and every week. And I'm sorry if you don't like this, but we're gonna take a little break here for at least a couple of weeks just so I have a chance to catch my breath and so we can plan a couple things that we're planning here to start up in October for you guys and for our confirmation students. So stay tuned for what those will be, but it's not like our videos are going to go away. We have a couple other videos we have planned. They might not be as fun as these are, but they'll still be some pretty cool videos that we're going to put together for you guys for many different reasons. So like we do each and every week, let us connect here and let's light our candles so we can know that through the Holy Spirit we are connected. I'm using a different candle this week because, well, I left the candle at home. So this is a woodwick candle, so it'll you might hear it crackle a little bit. But our story today, if you remember last week, we left with David being chosen. And David has a pretty important thing that's going to happen in today's story. So it comes from 1 Samuel chapter 17, verses 4 through 11 and 32 through 50. Or on your Spark Storybook Bible, you can find it on page 130. It's 130 this week, not like we said last week. So 1 Samuel 17, 4 through 11 and 32 through 50, or page 130. David and Goliath. King Samuel and his army looked out from their mountain hideout. Their enemies, the Philistines, were camped out on the opposite mountain. In the valley between stood Goliath, the tallest man that Saul had ever seen. "Who will fight me?" Goliath roared, waving his spear. Who can face the mighty Goliath? He shouted, lifting his sword. Saul and his army were afraid. They could not win against the Philistines. They could not beat Goliath. Surely they would be captured and become slaves. A beam of sunlight bounced off Goliath's bronze helmet, and his voice shook the leaves in the trees. All the birds hid behind their branches. "Send out your best warrior," Goliath ordered. "Let him fight against me. If I win, you will be our slaves. If your soldier wins, we will serve you and your God." Saul waited. No one stepped forward to take Goliath's challenge. Saul felt a very small tug on his sleeve. Looking down, he saw David, a young shepherd boy. "I will do it, King Saul." David said, "I will fight Goliath." "You are a boy. How can you beat a gigantic man like Goliath?" Saul turned to go. "Wait, King Saul," David said. "God protects me from the wolves and bears that go after my sheep. God will protect me now too." David reached down and picked up 5 smooth stones. In his right hand, he carried the same sling that he used to chase away the wolves and wild animals. Saul patted David's head and pointed down to the rocky path leading to the valley. Goliath laughed when he saw David. "You are the warrior they send against me?" David slipped his hand to his pouch, selected a stone. "I am not afraid of your spear and sword, Goliath," David said. "God will help me." David rushed towards Goliath. Swinging his sling, the smooth stone flew through the air and hit Goliath in the forehead. Down, down, down Goliath fell. Down fell his sword. Down fell his spear. Down fell the mighty shield. David picked up Goliath's bronze helmet from the ground, held it high in the air. Saul and his soldiers rose up with a shout. David, a small shepherd boy, had beaten mighty Goliath. When the Philistines saw that Goliath had fallen, they were afraid and ran away. Trusting God gave David courage when they needed it most. Depending on what story that you read, David beat Goliath using 5 stones and a sling. Sling is something that you put stones in and you swing it around and you whip it out into the air until you hit something. That's the story that we had today. The one that I grew up with, though, was a little bit different. It wasn't a sling. It was a slingshot. Something that you pull back and you let go, whether you hold it out like this and go, whoosh, or put it out between 2 things and let it go. In fact, I have a little bit of a slingshot. So let's go and show you that right now. All right, so we're here at the M State baseball field, and we are going to show you guys what a slingshot looks like. But instead of just shooting out random things, we have a water balloon slingshot, and we are going to shoot out water balloons. We're going to have a competition. This is Sarah, if you didn't know who she is. Sarah's my wife, and we're going to see who can go farther with their water balloon. I did a trial one to set this thing up, and it exploded right in my face. Hopefully we can actually get these things to launch and not just explode right into our face. So let's see who's the best. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Wow, the first few balloons did not go the way we wanted. However, The next couple after that, it looks like I clearly could launch the water balloon better and farther. So I guess I'm the winner. Sorry, Sarah. So back to our story, though. The main thing that we want to take out from this isn't the fact that David beat Goliath with a sling or a slingshot. It's the fact that David trusted in God, and God gave David the courage to take on and beat Goliath. When things get tough, God gives us the courage. We just need to ask God for that courage and to watch over us as we do those tough things.